Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of Professionals Unplugged. I am your host Utkarsh Shukla. Let me introduce you to my guest, Magdalena. Magdalena, thank you so much for joining in.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for asking me to come
Thank
to
you
your
so much.
program. I really appreciate. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So let's begin with our very basic questions. Can you please introduce our audience about yourself, like who you are, what work you do, what profession you are in, anything you want to talk about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Magdalena. I come from Poland and I'm a violinist. You know me from Instagram where I play covers, but basically I'm classical violinist. I finished my master studies in Poland and currently I'm studying my second master, also classical violin. Yeah, and I share my passion to music through my social media. Yeah, I started playing when I was 7 years old, so it's almost 20 years with this instrument in my hands.
That's really awesome. Like you have been playing from your childhood and now doing the masters on the same, right?
Sorry, could you repeat?
So it's like you are doing masters on the same, right?
Yes. It's exactly the same. Like I have one from classical violin and now it's the same because with violin and any instrument actually you can learn your whole life. It's never-ending process, and also it was my dream to study for the second time abroad. Yeah, so that's why I am here. I'm studying in Slovenia right now, so it's like abroad.
That's really awesome. So, any particular story you like to share from your journey till now? Like any story?
Yeah, actually, like my journey with violin is like one big story to tell, and it's story about believing in ourselves, believing and listening to our inner voice and intuition. Don't letting other people to decide what we can do or not. Yeah, and about having dreams. So my story was like this, like I really loved playing from the beginning, but I loved playing pieces I liked, so songs and so on, and I really wasn't happy when I needed to play like classical music and things I needed to play in school, but I was forced to, and like practicing the violin was really like punishment for me. Yeah, but year by year it was better and better, and I decided to go to the secondary school, music school, but it was a nightmare because I needed to practice more and I didn't want to. Repertoire started to be also harder, so yeah, I needed to put much more work, but I wasn't decided if I wanted to play the violin or not. Also, my teacher wasn't so supportive and he wanted me actually to change instrument or something, so it was very bad time. Yeah, I didn't want to play, but after 3 years I changed my teacher. Yeah, and I started to take care, I started to practice, I started to enjoy, I also started to think of becoming a musician. But it wasn't so easy because even if I did very good progress during 3 years, it wasn't enough to be accepted to music academy, and it was the hardest thing actually in my path because like I wasn't accepted and I needed to decide what to do because like nobody believed in me, like I didn't believe in myself. So I had two options. One was to give up and to start studying something else, and the second option was to wait 1 year to practice on my own and prepare for an entrance exam, but there was no assurance that I will be accepted. So yeah, it was very hard decision. Yeah, but something inside me told me to continue with music. Like it was a very soft voice, but it was like, okay, you should continue. And it was very hard time because, as I said, I was like, I needed to practice on my own. I didn't have any teacher. And 1 year, I was by my own, like my friends were studying, so it was very hard for me and I was so stressful and so on. It was very hard year, but when I look at this year from my perspective, today's perspective, I see it was very, very amazing time because I had a lot of time. So I had time to read books about personal development. I started to watch motivational videos. I started to meditate. I did a lot of visualizations, maps of my dreams, and so on and so on. So actually, everything started there, like my plan for the future and so on. It started back then. And after 1 year, I was accepted to the music academy. So it was like big wow. But at that point, it was again like beginning of everything, because firstly, I had a lot of things to fix as for violin, but also as for my mental being. Like I doubted myself. My self-confidence was like very, very, very poor. So I needed to, alongside like playing the violin and improving, I needed to improve my character. And everything was like getting better and better. And actually, after 3 years after my bachelor, I decided to change university for my master to be able to do even better progress. And 2 years ago, I got the best reward for my patience and for my dedication, because I put a lot of heart into playing, and I sent a recording for a competition, and I got the first prize, and they asked me to play in Carnegie Hall. So it was like one of my biggest dreams, because 3 years before I had been dreaming about going to New York and all these kind of things, but in my head it was like impossible thing to do. It was like no, because I had these voices in my head that maybe you should change instrument, maybe you should study something else, maybe it's not for you. But it was like the proof that I really listened to myself and I got what I wanted. And now I'm studying my second master. But I also started to play covers, but it was like by surprise, because every year I was basking with my friends during holidays. And 1 year ago, my father bought me a loudspeaker, and I took it and went basking with loudspeaker, and it was amazing because I had fun. It was so joyful for me playing for people covers, and people really liked it. I got very, very positive feedback. So I started also to play covers like for myself, and I can tell you that it gives me also a lot of freedom right now when I play classical music. Thanks to cover, I can play classical music in a much more relaxed way, because like in the past I didn't feel like okay to play classical music, because I felt pressure. I felt like people were judging and so on. It's like the environment is not so friendly in my opinion. And also like there is like you need to play this piece like this or this or this, and there is no freedom for me. But thanks to cover, like now I feel much more freedom also in classical music. So actually that's my story.
That's really awesome of you. I think you have gone through a lot of things, and for you every ending was a new beginning, right? As you mentioned, like at the time
it was like, yes, I thought it's like, okay, for example, after Carnegie Hall, I thought, okay, so now I have it. Now I should be self-confident. Now I have everything, but actually always there is one more thing to do, and like it's never-ending story, and you should improve all the time and have like will to be better and better every day. That's, I think, very important thing. That's
and the
not to sit and relax.
And the most amazing part that I found from your story till now is you were down with the low confidence, right? As you mentioned, so you also worked on yourself at the same time, right? That's the
of
most
course,
important.
Still I do. It's like it's not the end of the story, because we need to work on ourselves. So it's like every day I really put a lot of effort to improve my personality. Like I put a lot of work into personal development because it's very important when you play or do whatever that you also grow and like grow as a human being. I think that's the most important thing, that it's all together is one thing.
I agree with you on this, like self-confidence and kindness and talent. These three things need to come together. Only then you can perform well, right? Like you have mentioned,
Yes.
you have watched motivation video, worked on something at the same time. When you thought of changing the instrument, but you didn't give up on the thing, you continued on the violin and then started playing covers. Now good in classical music. So I have one question here, like, what's the difference between the classical music playing and like covers and other things? So what is the difficulty that you think it exists in the classical music? So why is it difficult to play classical music?
I think because firstly there are like pieces that have been played over 200 years, 100 years,
Right.
And you have in mind like, oh my god, there are a lot of people who really can play it in an amazing way, and then you compare it to others. There are also a lot of people who play since they are like 3 years old or something, so really like prodigy. Then when you compare to others, it's very hard. Also the system, I think, of education, it's not supportive because it's very competitive, all these like marks that you need to place exams, and they don't care if you maybe have a bad day today and that's why you play bad, or because just you hate playing when you see the jury, maybe you prefer to play concerts. And like I think the system of education is kind of old-fashioned, and that's why I think it's hard. Also like mindset of people, it's also this kind, like they are very competitive, and it's hard to be classical musician because there are not so many positions, so people need to fight to be the best. And I think that's a very big problem, that people are not so supportive, and you feel it when you play concert and there are your friends from the academy. You feel the like tension, like people compare you to themselves and so on. So that's the hard thing. And also the thing that there are ways like to play Bach, to play Mozart, and you need to play exactly like this because you should play like this and you don't have so much freedom. That's the hard part for me. But for some people it's okay, but my character is not like this. As a child I was like crazy creative, and like I had a lot of energy, and I still do, and that's maybe why it's for me hard, because I like doing creative things when I can play something from my heart, not like don't care about the outcome.
That's the main thing.
And the playing covers, it allows me to be like free to play whatever, and actually people don't care, because when I play for people, like when I'm basking, I just want to see emotions, they want to be energized by you, and that's all. And they don't think, oh, that note was out of tune or something like. And that's the most important thing in music, that if you can transfer emotions, I think is the best thing.
Emotion and creativity, I think they play a key role when it comes to music, right? People only feel each other through music when there are emotions in the music, and there can't be any music without creativity, as you mentioned. So being creative is, I think, the most important thing for being a musician, right?
Yeah, of course. Like you can play perfectly, but every note can be just in tune and everything. But if you don't put your heart, then what, you are like robot, or I don't know. Then people need, it's like we are humans because we have emotions. So I think that's this human part of playing. If there is no emotions for me, there's like no music.
Okay. So what is your dream right now?
My dream? Connected with music.
Then
my dream is to play cinema music or like movie music. That would be, I think, something in between classical and covers, something.
So it's like
so this kind of
able to compose music for movies like this?
Yes, but maybe not strictly like soundtrack for music, but like piece that is in vibe of, this movie music, like touching with emotions and so on. So this kind of things I would like to play. Of course, I would like to travel around the world and share music with others. That would be what's my dream at this point.
That's great. So last question, any advice you would like to give to younger generation who are making their career as a violinist?
Yeah, actually, I think the most important thing is to find yourself, like firstly who you are and what would you like to share with others, and to know that everyone has different mission. Like, okay, maybe your friends would like to play in orchestra, but it's okay if you, for example, want to teach or you want to play, I don't know, jazz. So you need to really find what is good for you, what you feel in your heart, without like not comparing to other people, because like you need to decide. Also, like to listen to your intuition and your inner voice, like because this voice knows exactly why you are here and what's your mission, and and also not letting other people, as I said, to decide if you are able to do something or not, because you are the only person that know if you can do this or that or not. So, and believe in yourself. I know it's hard, but always is the most important thing. And the last thing is to have dreams and to have big dreams, and try to fulfill them. That's the very important thing, and never stop dreaming.
Yeah, never stop dreaming and listen to your inner voices. That's the main. That's all. Thank you so much, Magdalena. I think we are done with the interview.
Thank you so much
for
Thank
joining.
you.